Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Hope y'all have had a good week so far. I want to go over a few things before we get into today's notes. The first being something I have decided to do. Um, I decided it yesterday afternoon, and I figured I'd give you all the same, put you in the same boat as the in-person kids. Um, I went back and went through all of the assignments we've done so far this 9 weeks, so everything from the beginning of this year up through now, and what I have put them open to be open through the end through Sunday at midnight, I believe. I also went through and marked anything in Power School as missing as well. So as far as what that means for you guys, um, any they'll remain open through the week up until Sunday at midnight. After midnight on Sunday, they're gonna lock, and I probably will not unlock them this 9 weeks, at least till the grading is over. You all have had plenty of time, hopefully, to get them done. If you need help with them, you need to let me know. That way I can help you with it. Um, and so I'm just putting that here. And this is basically an outline of what I had said. I've just told you. Something the school discovered is Canvas recently updated. And if you look up here, it gives you the option of an immersive reader. So this should work for all of your Canvas classes. If there is something that you would like to hear read to you, rather than watching me read it, you can click up here where it says immersive reader and it will pull it up for you and Canvas will read it out loud if you need to hear it that way. So that's kind of a cool new feature that we recently discovered, that I figured you all might want to be made aware of. So there is that. And then now we will get into the notes. If you want to use the note sheet I made, it's here on this page of the module. If you'd rather take notes yourself, perfectly fine too. We are actually going to look at the expansion of Islam after the death of Muhammad. So let me pull this up real quick. There we go. Okay. So Islamic lands at the time of Muhammad, or at the death of Muhammad, excuse me. So when Muhammad died in 632, Islam was still a regional religion down here in Arabia. However, it was situated for a big kind of breakthrough, if you will. But there were two different empires that kind of stood in its way: the Byzantines, the over in green over here, and the Sassanid Empire, the Persian Empire, if you will, over here in orange. Both of these empires were respectable. Both of them had long histories of being top notch, but both of them at this point in the 600s, 700s were slowly declining, if you will. And so this positioned Islam to have a major breakthrough, both politically and economically as well. And you'll see what I mean by that here in a second. So after Muhammad died, the first caliph, the first leader, Abu, decided that he was going to regain territory lost to local tribes in Arabia after the death of Muhammad. So it land down in here. He began engaging in several civil wars, if you want to call them that, against other Muslims, known as riddas. Despite this, he was able to retake lands in Arabia and also launch military campaigns into Syria up here, Israel, and portions of northern Egypt along the Nile River over here. So from in about 30 years, they went from probably a little tiny religion right here to what you see in green here. So this all happens under the first four caliphs. Sometimes you'll see them called the rightly guided. This is the first four leaders after Muhammad dies. The next one that we are going to focus on is known as the Umayyad dynasty. This dynasty had the greatest increase in territory gained by an Islamic empire. Um, through military campaigns, again, they increased the land under the dynasty to as far west as Spain over here and as far east as Iran and Afghanistan. So at one point, in some form or fashion, land from Spain and North Africa over here, all the way over to Iran, Afghanistan, was run by a single Muslim empire. Now, a couple things here with these guys. One is they improved the internal structure of Islam. Before it had kind of been like a kind of tribal situation. No real internal political structure. This changed under these guys. They developed a more centralized power system, a better line of succession, and other political things that needed to be changed. So at this point, Islam has kind of been accused of spreading the religion by the sword, if you will, by forceful conquering of people, forced conversions, that kind of thing. They actually didn't do that. Um, a lot of the people in the areas that they conquered weren't forced to convert to Islam. They chose to. A lot of them saw the success that Muslim armies had as a sign that the Muslim God was legit. They saw their military success as a sign that whoever their God is really good at what he does. We want to be a part of that. So they willingly converted to Islam. Did they fight military campaigns? Yes, they 100% did. But they didn't force people to convert. It is actually not against, but it's frowned upon in the Quran because the Quran doesn't like the idea of a forced conversion. It argues that forcing someone to convert to something is a worthless waste of your time. And it's that kind of thing. So again, a lot of people just saw the success of the Islamic armies as a sign of the Muslim God's greatness and willingly kind of converted to them. Now, those who did not convert, Christians, Jews, other local religions, they were taxed higher than Muslims were. So if you were a non-Muslim living in the Umayyad dynasty, you did pay more in taxes than a Muslim would. That's also a pretty good incentive to convert, pay less money. So this is kind of an idea or a rough outline of where Islam stood at the end of this dynasty in 750 CE. Okay. And then the next one, I think it's the last one, is the Abbasid dynasty from 750 to 1258. So they came to power at the territorial height of the Islamic Empire. What I mean by that is when this dynasty started, Islam had controlled the most territory it ever would. It wouldn't grow any bigger than this. This group came to power at the height of the expansion. They expanded upon the previous dynasty's centralized government. They moved the capital to the city of Baghdad in modern day Iraq. They attempted several new military campaigns with not much success. Some of the more notable ones, invasions of southern France, the Byzantine capital of Constantinople, and even as far east as Central Asia against the Tang Chinese. So militarily, these guys were kind of a bust. They didn't do a whole lot. But this is actually considered a golden age of Islamic art, science, architecture, and medicine. And we're going to look at this more in detail next week. Or not next week, later this week, sorry. And eventually, over time, they would lose a lot of the territory that they had held at the beginning, and they kind of died essentially after Baghdad was taken in 1258. So to give you an idea, this color right here is the territory gained before Muhammad died. So this is the area Muhammad was able to roughly take before he died. This orange area is kind of the area that the first four caliphs took. Those rightly guided caliphs we talked about at the beginning. And then this yellow is actually the Umayyad dynasty's expansion. So it's a lot to get through. But if you all have any questions over it, let me know. We will start working on. Well, there's one more empire we're going to talk about tomorrow, and then we're going to work on the golden age stuff that I was talking about briefly. So that is actually it for today. If you all have any questions, let me know. Other than that, I hope you all have a good rest of the day, and I will see you all back here tomorrow.